I just came back from a second date with somebody.
He said that I should pay for the date as a test because girls are only after money, and he would consider going on a second date with me if I was willing to pay the bill.
I met this guy on the app that rhymes with Maya.
Let me set the scene. I am relatively newly single. I've been in and out of situationships for a good few months.
Suddenly I get this text. We are texting, right? He's like, I want to be more intimate.
He made me clean his entire house and I wasn't even invited to the party.
I didn't hear from him until 1 p.m. Saturday.
I was so shocked by the audacity of men.
I had high hopes. He was kind of my
I met this guy on Hinge, and we went on a first date last night, which the date was fine, but he said some questionable things. I'm not sure if I should go on a second date, so help me figure it out. He said that I should pay for the date as a test because girls are only after money, and he would consider going on a second date with me if I was willing to pay the bill. He casually mentioned he only does favors for people if it benefits him. That was a big red flag, but I'm hoping he didn't really mean it in that way. He's never heard of base.com. He actually said he doesn't really even believe in hygiene in general, is an all-natural type of person. He kept asking me really trivia type questions. I feel like it was a test of my knowledge, and when I didn't know something, he was always nagging. I don't know, it was really weird.
Men are so tired of being used, lied to, and judged that some now show every red flag up front. If he's testing you on one, he already expects modern dating to be transactional.
Recently, this is a dating story. This guy, we started talking on Instagram, whatever. And then he asked to go on a date with me. And I was like, okay, it's been a while. And it was the first date of 2026, right? It was gonna be a quick coffee thing. Anyways, it went well. Shocking. I was surprised. And then he asked me out again. And then I went again. Perfect. He's not letting me pay. He's paying for everything. By the way, coffee, tea, whatever. I could have paid also. And then the third date happens. Also, he picks me up after work. Everything is fine. But during these dates, he talks about how a family guy he is, how he has good friendships and his family, his sisters, whatever. He looks like a green flag. And for a second, I dared to hope. That what hurts me the most. I am disappointed very much, but I wanted to hope. I wanted to be a lover girl. By the way, I didn't notice, but he kept wanting to see me every day, and I guess that's a red flag. I haven't noticed that. And suddenly I get this text. We are texting, right? He's like, I want to be more intimate. And I'm like, bro, we have only been on 3 dates. Calm down. He's like, no, I want this. This is how I want, blah, blah, blah. And oh my God. The worst thing is he said something like, can you satisfy me? Can you satisfy my needs? The audacity. Yeah, that's what happened. I'm a bit sad because I had high hopes. He was kind of my type. And it was the first dates of 2026.
Dates pay for everything: consistent effort, clear interest. Then suddenly he's the villain for wanting intimacy. Modern dating punishes men for investing early, then mocks them when they stop trying.
That man needs to hear this, but going to the park or going for a walk is not a date.
Why not? Why isn't it a date? A date, after all, is two people spending time together, getting to know each other. So why are those things not considered to be dates?
And if you don't have the money to take a girl out on a date, or you have the money and you just don't feel like she's worth it, then just don't ask her or just don't date.
It seems there are a lot of very confused women out there that seem to think that the amount of money that a guy spends on a date is equivalent to how interested he is. That couldn't be further from the case. Sometimes a guy just wants to see what type of personality a woman has, and you don't need to spend a lot of money to do that. In fact, sometimes that's the best way.
But going to the park is not a date. What has gotten into you guys? A date is... I shouldn't even have to explain myself.
Well, the good news is someone doesn't seem to be able to, because if they actually did put into words what a date is, there's no actual requirement at all on how much money someone has to spend.
I met this guy on the app that rhymes with Maya. He is 48. He looks handsome. He looks well-traveled. So I say, let's give it a go. We went to go get drinks on a Friday night. I've had men lie to me about numerous things in my life, as I assume most of us have. I just still really just didn't expect this to happen. He's talking about himself a lot. He shares a lot of information within the first 5 minutes about properties he owns, about his ex-fiance. I decided to let the self-absorbed talk kind of pass me by, because once I started interjecting, we were having a nice conversation. We ended up talking for quite a few hours. I brought up his age and I said, yeah, because you're 48, right? In that moment, I was starting to question things. Yep, 48. And we moved on with our conversation. There were some things missing from his physique. Those things were kind of bothering me, but I really was trying not to be judgmental or superficial. Now I know why they were bothering me. It was my subconscious telling me something's not right here. On that day, he asks me to hang out the next Saturday to do a dinner together. He was so excited. He was all loved up. And after the date, I was like, I think he might be a love bomber, but we had a nice time. So we'll see how real this guy actually is. On that Friday night, he asked if I would want kids. And he mentioned that he thinks that he doesn't want kids. He also asked if I was actively dating and that he's a dating one girl type of guy. Sunday rolls around. I'm supposed to be going out with this guy from my gym, but he hadn't made a plan yet on Sunday, which was annoying. So when Friday night guy asked me to go to lunch, I said yes. And we went and we sat at lunch for multiple hours. This was during the daytime, and I'm just gonna be honest, I was looking at his eye bags and his neck, and I was like, oh wow, he really needs some skincare. That's kind of wild. He just looks kind of a little haggard. I just kept writing off that voice because I was enjoying the conversation, enjoying ourselves. He again is asking me if I'm dating other people. He says he's not. And I'm feeling a little bit pressured. Why are we talking about this on date number 2? I literally just seriously jumped back into the date game. I'm not ready to commit. Plus, I didn't really believe him. You're telling me you date all the time, but now you're ready to give it up all because of one date with me? No.
Men can't even be intentional anymore without getting labeled love bombers. Self-absorbed or suspicious dude plan dates show consistency, communicated clearly, and still got treated like a walking red flag audit.
On Hinge, and we match on Hinge. One thing leads to another, and we're going on a date. I've got my knee-high boots on, I've got a cute little jumper, I've got a Burberry scarf. I am looking 10 out of 10. I arrive, and he's in his pyjamas. And I think, okay, guys don't take that long to get ready. I'm not going to overthink it. He opens a bottle of wine, I think, great, pre-drinks, why not? So we have a couple of glasses of wine, and I was like, okay, so when are we, gonna skedaddle? Should I order the taxi, blah, blah, blah? And he's like, oh, I think it's just best if we stay in. Excuse me? What do you mean? Anyway, I am not a confrontational girly. I say, okay, whatever, don't worry about it, we'll stay in. Idiot. Anyway, we have a couple of drinks. We have quite a lot to drink, actually. At one point in the night, he even gets his pan out and cooks himself a steak. Doesn't offer me anything, even though I've been drinking for a couple of hours. But, fine, whatever. Who cares? I'd eaten anyway, luckily. And I'm not the type of girl to go, oh, can I have some? Maybe I should have, but I don't. Anyway. I end up staying the night. Of course I do, because he's an absolute idiot. And it is now New Year's Eve. And he informs me that he's having a New Year's Eve party, and I think, oh, great. I mean, it's a little bit early. We've only been chatting for a couple of weeks, and this is the first time we've met, but if you want to invite me to your New Year's Eve party, great. And he's like, I just need to clean up a little bit. It was whatever day it was, and, I'm going to start doing whatever. And he didn't ask me for help, but let me know what you would have done in this situation, because I was like, let me help you. So I shit you not, this guy gives me his Hoover, and I am hoovering. He has a huge house, by the way. I don't know what he did, but his house, it was like a big farmhouse. I'm hoovering every inch of this house. I do one room, and he comes in and was like, oh, I like Hoover lines. What? Excuse me? Hire a fucking maid then. Do I say anything? No, I stand there and I do Hoover lines all over this guy's house, and I think, do you know what, it's fine, because we're going to have this really fun New Year's Eve party, and it's going to be, I think actually at the time it was my first New Year's Eve with a boyfriend, so I was like, okay, it's worth it, whatever, let it go over my head. Still kind of hungover from the night before as well. Anyway, We finished cleaning the house, we had a little bit of breakfast or whatever. I was cleaning this house for 2 hours, by the way, so I was ravenous by the time it came for breakfast. This man gives me a slice of toast. I'm not going to be ungrateful, but I had to stop for a McDonald's on the way home. Anyway, I stopped for my McDonald's on the way home. I don't eat too much because I've got a New Year's party tonight with this new man that I'm seeing. I get home, I get changed, and I realise when I left, he never actually said anything about me coming to this party. So I text him and I say, oh, what's the plans for tonight? And he said, I'm having this party with my friends. What are you up to? I was never invited. I was never invited to the party. This man made me clean his entire house. He did one room, by the way. He did fuck all. He made me clean his entire house and I wasn't even invited to the party. Anyway, I'm glad I'm not an idiot anymore.
He showed up in pajamas, fed himself, let you clean his house for free, and still never promised commitment. Men aren't confusing women, just ignore red flags when attraction is involved.
We went on a date recently and it was really great. He was really sound. Felt like he got like emotional intelligence. Well, I got emotional intelligence energy from him. I got sort of critical thinking skills energy from him. I got this energy from him that he was like clearly somebody who's quite reflective and interrogated like his own thoughts and stuff. You know, he's on a healing journey. I was like, and plus he was really fucking hot. So I was like, in my head, I was like, yay! Like, finally, starting to find men who are both attractive physically and that I find really fit, but also who are, you know, done a lot of the internal work as well. Anyway, I got really good vibes from him. I thought he was nice and we had a lot of fun. The first date was great. Anyway, arranged a second date. He was gonna like cook me food at his apartment. Anyway, got there, it was really good. We sat outside in the sun, had food, drinks. It was really lovely. We had like really great chats, and it was going really well. Like I was actually having a really good time and didn't really get any bad vibes at all. And anyway, we were talking about feminism, we were talking about patriarchy, we were talking about like just, you know, family dynamics and so on. And he was always asking questions, you know, he was making a lot of effort. So I was just like, oh, this is really refreshing. And I remember like looking at him and just being like, this is so great that, you know, this guy's like, you know, he's like muscly, he's tall, he's attractive, got nice hair, like whatever, nice looking man. And also all these kind of internal things that I really appreciate in a man. It was really attractive. Anyway, he was like, he was, oh, I never really asked you, but like, what did you think of my profile when you saw it on Hinge? I was like, oh, I think you had a really nice face. Like, I was really drawn to your face. You just look really good, and I just like your vibe. Like, clearly confident in yourself. And then I wouldn't ever ask this question off the bat. Like, I don't really care what people think of my profile. Like, I don't think like I really need sort of validation or anything like that, but I just reciprocate the question, just say, well, what do you think about mine? Like, not because I actually really care, but more that I was just reciprocating, like, and you kind of thing. And he was like, oh well, I didn't think it was all that, or your profile was all that, but and then he went to go on to explain some other bullshit about like, yeah, but you know, when I saw you in person, I just thought you were like really pretty, but like, yeah. And I was like, and I was like smiling, grinning at him, and then suddenly when he said that comment, I was just like, slowly, I was just like, oh fuck, another one bites the fucking dust. But I gave him a chance. I was like, in my head, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna let him explain. So I was like, what do you mean? And he started to kind of like fumble and try and explain himself. I think he knew at this point that he kind of said something insensitive and clumsy. So I gave him a second chance to kind of like explain it a bit more, just in case it was like, you know, he was trying to explain something different. And he was like, no, I think obviously in person, like, you're beautiful. I'm like, okay. And he was like, yeah, but I mean, you know, when I first saw the profile, I just thought, you know, she's like average, but like, you know, I'll...
Man was honest for 2 seconds, and suddenly he's another one bites the dust. Modern dating wants men to communicate openly until the honesty bruises ego.
With a man, and it's been under a month, and we're done. Your girl dodged a bullet. Look, the first 2 weeks were amazing. We had great banter, lots in common, so much. We talked about going out all the time, trying new restaurants, going to bars, having fun, doing all these activities. And then the cracks started to show a little bit, because there was one night where, a couple of weeks ago, it was Friday night, I let a lot of things slide, I think, because I haven't dated in a while. And I'm like, I don't know if that's right, but that doesn't make me feel good, but am I being too particular? Spoiler, I was not being too particular. There was a Friday night where I stayed home and he went out to the pub, and that's fine. I'm so fine for people to go out and live their lives. We've known each other 2 weeks. Like, we're not exclusive, whatever. But at this point, he would message me every single day, throughout the whole day, like constantly. And I would respond when I could. This particular Friday night, he went out and he stopped messaging me at 6 p.m. I'm like, that's fine, he's having a great night. I didn't hear from him until 1 p.m. Saturday. And look, that might actually sound a little bit crazy, but when you are used to someone texting you constantly, that puts a little bit of alarm bells in your head being like, what did you do last night? And you know what? Whatever, I don't care what he got up to. We were 2 weeks in, who cares? But the fact that there was just nothing. And then when I brought it up to him at 2 o'clock the next day, when I saw the message at 1, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna leave it. I was actually working, so I couldn't respond. I responded at 2, he called me and he just acted like everything was fine, which, fine. And when I told him, I was really sad that you didn't message me all day today, blew up. I was like, why is he getting so angry? He'd been drinking since like 10 a.m. It was all, he lied about a lot of things, about where he was and stuff. And I'm like, why are you lying? Like, I don't actually care. I was just sad that I hadn't heard from you. That's it. And when I told him my feelings, he blew up, and his argument style was very, very aggressive and opposite to mine. When I argue, I like to have a discussion and talk about it, not just blow up and end the conversation. So that was the red flag about a week and a half ago. And then I brought it up to him when he was sober, and he kind of apologized to me, but I was like, I think I was kind of checked out, but I'd gotten the ick from that. So I was like, you know what, this is gonna be casual. We're really good in bed together. We have really great banter. We have a great time together, and that will be it. Like, we're not gonna be in any sort of serious situation. Cut to last night, he texted me saying it was over because, wait for it guys, because I wouldn't let him drive to my house.
Women say they want honesty until a man sets boundaries, gets frustrated, or leaves. First dude ended it because he was drunk and emotional, not because he was evil. Every failed talking stage doesn't need a villain.
I'm doing this blind date party. There are 15 guys, 15 girls. We're all randomly assigned. I'm assigned with this tall guy who's like country, so it's like, oh, I love a tall man, and he's country, like he's gonna have manners, like it's gonna be totally fine. Like, at least will be like a fun story, and it is a fun story for everyone else. Basically, he picks me up, and he's 15 minutes late, which is fine. I am chronically late. Like, I have horrible directional skills. Like, I'm so directionally challenged, like it's bad, and I fully know that, and I'm working on it. But he is too. So I'm like, that's totally fine. Like, I get it. I get it. So everyone's left. He comes and picks me up, and he seems nice. And I love a chivalrous man. I love a chivalrous man. I don't know if that's a word, but I love it. And he's walking. We're walking to the car, and he's walking to the passenger side of the car. So I was like, oh my gosh, like he's gonna open the door for me. I love this. I love it. He swings the door open, grabs a pile of stuff off the passenger seat, and literally chunks it in the back, and just walks off. It's like, oh, like, thanks for opening the door. And I hop in the car, and then I shut the door, and I'm like, okay, like he's probably nervous, like it's totally fine, like not a big deal. For context, this was an hour and a half. So we are at the house, the guy picks us up, takes us on a date, and an hour and a half later, we are back at the house for like a girls' night kind of thing. And the guys were supposed to have a plan for the date and execute that plan. And every other guy did. We start driving, and he doesn't say anything. So a minute goes by, a minute or two, and I'm like, so, like, where are we going? He says, I don't have a plan. So, okay, that's totally fine. I was like, are you thinking, like, activity? Are we thinking dinner? Because it's, like, 7 o'clock, I think, at this point. He's like, I don't know, I don't care. And I was like, okay, let's do dinner. Let's do dinner. He's like, all right, sounds good. I was like, so where do you want to go? Like, do you have any favorite places? Like, I'm super open. And he was like, I don't go out to eat. Okay, that's totally fine. So we're driving by, and I see a Mod Pizza sign. So I was like, oh my gosh, like there's a Mod Pizza. Do you want to go there? And he said, that would require me to turn the car around, and I'm not going to do that. I was like, okay, like I see how this is going to be. So I'm kind of ready to go home at this point, but the date just started. We're driving, and we finally decide on a Mexican restaurant because he did say no to all of my other ideas. So we end up at this, like, deciding on this Mexican restaurant. We're driving there, and I say something that is apparently a little dingy. Like, I don't even remember. It was so insignificant that, like, I have no clue what I said. And he looks at me and he's like, kind of blonde moon, aren't ya? And I don't like that joke, but I was like, you know what, like, I'll play along. It's totally fine. Like, I just met this guy. And I was like, oh, like, not even a natural blonde. And he said, yeah, it's all that bleach getting to your head. And he says it like that. Like, it's not in, like, a joking tone. It's in, like, yeah, you have issues tone. It's a little aggressive. And I was like, okay. So I try and change the subject. And then he changes the subject to, what does your dad do for work? So, okay. And then proceeds to ask how much my dad makes. And I was like, no, we're not playing that game. That's not happening tonight. Then, again, he's like, you're having a blonde moment. I was like, no, I'm not. On this date, like, let's just jump forward for a second. He tells me 7 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times that I'm having a blonde moment. And it ends with an argument. It ends with us in the restaurant, and don't worry, we're gonna go back to the rest of the day, but let's just finish this really quick. I genuinely started to think that he thought something was wrong with me. So I look at him, and we're in the middle of dinner, and I was like, I just want you to know, like, I'm totally, like, fully there. Like, I'm totally fine. Like, no need to worry. Like, I'm all good. He then doesn't believe it, and he says, well, tell me this. How long have you been dyeing your hair? I was like, well, not that that's relevant, but 4 years. And he was like, yeah, so the bleach gets into your bloodstream, and, like, you're definitely, like, not okay. What?
One awkward day, and suddenly he's a documentary-level red flag. Women want traditional men until the man isn't perfectly polished, perfectly smooth, and perfectly rehearsed.
Guy that was just full of red flags, and I mean bright red. Like, no, you'll have a salad type guy, and even that doesn't compare to my worst date. At first, everything seemed relatively normal. We were talking on a dating app, and I mentioned that I like to explore haunted places, and he mentioned that he knew of a really haunted spot that he would love to take me to. I went with this man alone in the middle of the night. I mean, my first mistake was being on a generic dating app and not being on Marshmallow. So he picks me up and starts driving me to said haunted place. We pull up, and you guys, when I tell you, this haunted place was in a park, and it was after hours. We get out of the car and we start walking to the location, which he tells me is a surprise. Guys, this super secret location was a sewer pipe. I should have told that man to take me home right now, because I'm not going in a sewer pipe. Online dating can be really hard.
Dating in 2026 is women ignoring every red flag imaginable, then acting shocked when mysterious adventure guy leads them straight into a sewer pipe at midnight. Anyway, that's enough for today. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, like, share, and stay tuned for the next.